Children, I am your Kusum ma'am. Let's start with metals and non-metals. So this is one of the important chapter for your 10th exam. So as we know that elements are categorized into four categories. They are metals, non-metals, metalloids and noble gases. So here metals belong to that category where they donate electrons. So we can say that metals are electron donors. They donate electrons. In their outermost orbit, they have 1, 2 or 3 electrons. Non-metals, they accept electron. So they are electron acceptor, and in their outermost orbit, they have 5, 6, 7 electrons. So that they can easily accept electron and can get converted to octet. Metalloids, they show the property of both metals and non-metals. Whereas the noble gases, they have completely filled outermost orbit. So their outer orbit is filled with 8 electrons. Let's start out with the next topic, physical properties of metals and non-metals. So here we will learn it comparatively. So the first property is malleability. Metals are malleable in nature. That is, they can be bitten into thin sheet. Whereas the non-metals are non-malleable. We cannot make sheet out of them. Ductile, that is ductility. Metals can be drawn into wire. There are few exceptional cases. Here the exceptions are mercury and zinc, which cannot be made into wire. Whereas the non-metals, they are non-ductile in nature. Coming to hardness, metals are generally hard. Exceptional cases are lithium, sodium and potassium. Lithium, sodium and potassium is so soft that it can be easily cut with a knife. Non-metals, generally they don't show hardness. Whereas diamond is the hardest non-metal which has high melting and boiling point. Sonorous is a property of producing sound. Metals are sonorous in nature. Exceptional case is mercury, which does not produce any sound. Lustrous, metals have shiny surface. Meaning of the luster, to have shiny surface. Metals are shiny in nature. Generally, non-metals, they do not shine, but there are exceptional cases. Iodine and graphite, they have lusters. Electric conductivity. Metals are good conductor of electricity. Silver is the best conductor, whereas mercury and lead, they are poor conductor. Heat conductivity. Metals are good conductor of heat. Silver and copper are the best conductor of heat. Coming to non-metals, graphite is good conductor of electricity. Generally, non-metals do not conduct electricity. They are poor conductor, but graphite is the only non-metal which is good conductor. Melting and boiling point. Metals have high melting and boiling points. But there are few exceptional cases like gallium and cesium. Gallium and cesium is the metal which have low melting point. Even it melt if it is kept on the palm. Whereas in non-metal, they have low melting point and boiling point. But diamond is the only non-metal which has high melting point. Now coming to the next topic, that is density. Metals have high density. Whereas the non-metals, they have low density. Exceptional cases are hydrogen and nitrogen. State, metals are generally solid in nature. Few exceptions are there, like mercury, which is liquid in nature. Non-metals, they can present in all the three states, solid, liquid and gas. Here the only liquid non-metal is barium. So these are important exceptional cases which can be asked as 1-mark questions. So better to concentrate on the exceptional cases. Now let's start out with the next topic, chemical property of metals. The first property is how metal react with oxygen. Metals react with oxygen to form metallic oxide, and metallic oxides are basic in nature. Metallic oxides are basic in nature, that they react with acids. Now some metallic oxides are amphoteric oxides. What is the meaning of this amphoteric oxide? Like they have both acidic and basic property. This is also one of the important question. Example of amphoteric oxides are aluminium and zinc. So here aluminium and zinc react with oxygen to form aluminium oxide and zinc oxide, which are amphoteric in nature, that they shows both acidic and basic property. They react with acid and base to form salt and water. Now here one example is given, aluminium oxide, it reacting with HCl to produce aluminium chloride and water, and the same way aluminium oxide react with base sodium hydroxide to produce NaAlO2, that is sodium aluminate, and water. So as it is reacting with both acid and base, we call it as amphoteric oxide. Most metal oxides are insoluble in water, but some dissolve in water and they are called alkalis. So here water soluble metal oxides are called alkalis. So this is also one of the important question. Na2O plus water will form 2NaOH. This aqueous is representing it dissolve in water. Now let's start with reactivity of the metal with oxygen. Now metal react with oxygen to form metallic oxide. Now how the metal react with the reactivity of metal with oxygen? For that we need to remember activity series. Already in my previous video I uploaded like how we can easily remember activity series. With the sentence we can remember it. Popular scientist can make a zoo in less humid country more satisfactorily. So with this, prepare the activity series, write it in the side so that you can learn out the activity with oxygen. So here the highly reactive metal like sodium and potassium, potassium and sodium, they catches fire if kept open in air. So as they are highly reactive, so they are kept immersed in kerosene. This is also one of the important question. Why sodium and potassium is stored in kerosene? Because they are highly reactive, so they catches fire with oxygen. Now coming to calcium, magnesium, aluminium and zinc. So when they react with oxygen, they forms a thin layer of oxide which prevent further oxidation. So this property is called anodizing. This is also one of the important property. Generally, we find this anodizing property with aluminium vessels. So hope you have seen when we purchase any aluminium vessel newly from the market, it is very shiny in nature. But after a few days of use, it starts dulling out. Dullness develops on it. So it got anodized. It reacted with oxygen to form aluminium oxide layer, which gives dull appearance and prevent further oxidation of the metal. Now coming to iron. Iron does not burn on heating, but iron fillings burns vigorously when sprinkled on flame. After hydrogen, this lead does not react with oxygen. Now copper, mercury, silver and gold. Coming to copper, copper does not burn, but hot metal is coated with black color layer of copper to oxide. This is also one of the important question. What happens when copper reacts with oxygen? So it forms a black color coating, which is copper to oxide. Silver and gold, they do not react with oxygen. So this is how metals react with oxygen. Now let us start with the activity of metal with water. So for this also we need to remember activity series. So always have the habit of writing activity series in the aside so that you can write the property and you can learn it easily. Now highly reactive metal, potassium and sodium, react vigorously with cold water. So here they react in 3 different steps. Highly reactive metal react with cold water. Then middle of the activity series react with hot water. Bottom of the activity series, they react with steam. Whereas the completely bottom one, that does not react at all. So let's start out with sodium, potassium and sodium. They react with cold water. The reaction is so violent that the hydrogen evolved catches fire as it is highly exothermic reaction. Now coming to calcium. Calcium reaction is less violent and heat evolved is not sufficient to catch fire. So it is also reacting with cold water, but it is not making the hydrogen to catch fire. Whereas for the first 2 cases, hydrogen is burning. Magnesium react with hot water. And it also liberates hydrogen. Hydrogen will stick to magnesium and it starts floating. This is also one of the unique property. When magnesium react with hot water, it liberates hydrogen which will stick to magnesium and starts floating. Aluminium, zinc and iron, they do not react with cold water or hot water, but they react with steam. Now coming to the bottom of the series, from lead onwards till gold, they do not react with water at all. So here how the metals are reacting and what they are liberating. So when metal react with water, they liberate metal oxide and hydrogen. Again, this metal oxide will react with water to form metal hydroxide. So this is the main heading reaction which you can remember so that you can write further equations. Coming to potassium, potassium react with water to form potassium hydroxide, hydrogen, and heat is liberated. Sodium also react in the same way. It forms sodium hydroxide, hydrogen and heat. This heat is making the hydrogen to burn and to catch fire. Now calcium is reacting with water to form calcium hydroxide. So these three are the metals which forms hydroxide. Whereas aluminium and iron, when they react with water, they forms oxides, aluminium oxide and iron oxide. Now reaction of metal with acid. So this is very simple. Metals react with acid to form salt and hydrogen. So here hydrogen is liberated in the form of gas. So this is also used for preparation of hydrogen. Metal react with acid to form hydrogen. So these acids are mostly sulfuric acid and HCl. We need to remember that HNO3 does not react with metals to form hydrogen. This is also one of the important question. Like HNO3 is a strong oxidizing agent, so it oxidizes liberated hydrogen to water. That's why HNO3 is not used in the preparation of hydrogen. But HNO3 react with magnesium and manganese. These are also important. Like name the metal which react with nitric acid to liberate hydrogen. Magnesium and manganese are the only metal which react with nitric acid to liberate hydrogen. Now depending on this, we can prepare activity series, like how the metals are reacting with the oxygen, water and acids. So on the basis of that, activity series is prepared. Already it is discussed with you, and we arrange the elements in different column, like as per the activity. Potassium comes first, then sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminium, zinc, iron, lead, hydrogen, copper, mercury, silver, gold. So this is how we got the activity series. And I already told to you to remember the sentence, popular scientist can make a zoo in less humid country more satisfactorily. So with this sentence, you can easily memorize activity series. Hope everyone enjoyed the video. So go through with that so that you can memorize all the points. If you like, please subscribe my channel for further videos.